Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Baknak here, and we're gonna have a part two of me talking about the My Hero Academia manga, and just my thoughts, and me talking about how I kind of feel like it was rushed, and the more chapters and the more arcs that happens after the war arc, I think feels rushed, and then like more rushed, and then the current arc feels pretty rushed. Um, and I have the arcs over here, the names because I'm gonna forget, but the UA Trader arc. Okay, so that's like the third arc that happens after the War arc, and the War arc was like great, and I already talked about that. But the UA Trader arc, I think, was probably the hands down my least favorite arc in this entire manga. Um, and there's some pretty mid arcs, I think. Like the Class 1A versus 2B, I think it was. I think it's the name of the arc. But that wasn't that great. That was probably one of the worst ones. But honestly, now that UA Trader arc is fully done, I definitely think that's probably the worst arc in the entire manga. So they had this plot line from pretty early on where it's like, oh, there's a traitor in UA who's feeding information to the League of Villains, more so All for One. And then we figure like there's a lot of like clues, and a lot of people thought it was Aoyama and Invisible Girl, but it ended up being Aoyama, just Aoyama though, not Invisible Girl. And the way they did it was like, Aoyama got his quirk from All for One because he was quirkless, just like Deku. But he got a quirk because his parents felt bad, and then now his parents and him owe All for One a favor, or owes him a favor because he got a quirk, and he's cashing that in by getting information about UA, and that's all well and done. But like at the end of the day, it's like they're like, oh well, Aoyama, he's so good friends with these people, and he's such a good friend with Deku, and they're like he doesn't want to hurt them or betray them, and he wants to be a hero. And they're like, oh yeah, we forgive you, and everyone just kind of just like, oh well, we forgive you, basically. And even like almost like Zawa's kind of like, oh yeah, well we forgive you because you're my student, even though you basically endangered the life of all the students. You could have gotten the teacher literally like in jailed and fired for maybe possibly being including with the League of Villains. You put basically all these students in danger. You got Bakugo kidnapped. We're just gonna forgive you. And to me that was like, that just felt so dumb. That felt so stupid. That felt like lazy writing. And the thing is, it's like, I really wish they just were like, he's just bad. He's just a villain. And he's been tricking you this whole time. And this whole time he's like, every time he like shoots his quirk, the laser from his stomach, he has to have like the equipment to basically use it properly, or he can't use it for very long. And I really wish it was like, oh well, this whole time he's been lying. He doesn't need support item. He can shoot lasers and then manipulate the lasers himself, or he can shoot multiple lasers, and he's just proficient with his quirk, but and then he's just tricking you all, and he's actually just evil because he's evil, and something like that. But they didn't, and it was kind of just like I feel like we always see just characters who are like kind of they're giving information to the bad guy, and they're with the good guys, and then they're like, oh, these are my friends now, and I don't want to betray them, so I'm the good guy now. And then that's how it goes a lot of times, and I don't like that, and I found that super annoying. But that's how it went this time. And then another thing we got to talk about is Invisible Girl. Invisible Girl, I feel like she was kind of just like, oh yep, here you go, like here's a little bit of character spotlight on you, because like a super small bit, because it's mostly Aoyama. Like here's a little bit of your character, because you've basically sitting in the background for the majority of this entire manga, so I have to give you some type of development, I guess. And it really wasn't a whole lot. It was just kind of like we got to see like not fully what she looks like not invisible. Like we got to see like what her outline looks, her face, um, which is kind of cool. I thought it was kind of cool. We got to see her face, but I was kind of hoping that she was also a traitor, but it didn't happen. So it was just kind of like whatever. I don't. I just kind of like, me personally. I don't think this arc was that great, and I think I have a little bit more of a bias towards it because I just don't like Aoyama as a character. I find him really annoying. I don't like his character at all. And then him now being a traitor. And I've been liking, I like the UA trader arc, plot line, because it's been sort of like, it hasn't been like front and center, it's been the back line. And it's like super old, like old, it's like from like really early on into the story. And it just kind of gets solved like this. It's like, oh, Aoyama's a traitor, and he's basically got off scot free. And I'm just like, I feel like the way they ended off the UA trader plot line was pretty trash. And I also just don't like Aoyama, so I think this all culminates to me thinking that this entire arc is actual garbage, literal garbage. And it sucks. And even the lead in to the current arc, I think, is garbage. So, when we lead into the current arc, basically they Aoyama, with Aoyama's help, because All for One still thinks that he is working for him. They basically trick All for One into coming to a spot, and then that they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have all the heroes appear, and then we're gonna fight." And the thing is, like, the one thing I want to talk about is All for One. The entire story, and especially during the war arc and then after, they've been just hammering home, just like bang, bang, bam, into everyone's head that All for One is literally like 10 steps ahead of everybody. He's got backup plans for backup plans for backup plans. Like, this man is just like, he's calculated like the next 100 years of what he needs to do to achieve his goal. And I feel like it just like, I don't buy that he would just get tricked by Aoyama and Deku. Like, and, obviously like the rest too, I guess. But like, I just don't buy he would get tricked like that. But I guess people could say like, I don't know, it was because of narcissism or something like that, or he was just kind of like his ego. But like, I just don't buy that, to be honest. I don't like the way they did that. But the one thing I did like about this, like, how like they set up the like basically the next war for the current arc that we're in, is Kurogiri, is they tried to get him to help, but he, because he's Shirakumo, Aizawa and President Mike's, friend back in when they were in UA, but he doesn't help. That's the one thing I like. I was super worried that they were going to be like, because we saw like the warp gate quirk on the panels, but we didn't see who was using it, and I got super worried because I'm like, please do not be another Mirio situation where off screen Mirio just, with training and being with Eri just all of a sudden gets the power to give his quirk back, and I hated that. Okay, actually I should say definitely the war arc. That was literally the only thing in the war arc that I didn't like, was Mirio just randomly getting his quirk back in a flashback during it. That was like absolutely terrible. I hated that so much. But, and I was really hoping this was not another like, he became a hero off screen and now all of a sudden he's helping. Um, I didn't. I was really hoping that wasn't the thing, and I'm glad it wasn't, because it was literally, they brought Monoma, and I didn't even think about that. But that's such a smart idea, is to just get Monoma to copy the quirk, because Monoma is 100% guaranteed a hero. Like, he's going to, he's going to go all out to be a hero, and he's going to help, like, no matter what. And it makes so much sense that they just had him, because if they use Kurogiri, like, who knows? Like, he could get, All for One can get control of him again, or he could short out in the middle and screw everyone over. But Monoma won't. He just copies the quirk and he just uses it. And they basically had all the heroes like scattered around, and then they teleport all of them in to be like, oh, we have all the heroes here now in this one spot. You didn't realize it. But then, All for One being him, or he planned this, but for some reason he didn't plan getting tricked. I don't know. I digress. But then he uses his quirk, All for One, to teleport all the villains there. The same quirk that he used at Camino Ward during the All Might versus All for One fight, which is a cool callback. I like how he keeps using the same quirks, even though he has like a bunch of quirks. Um, anyways, so basically, the entirety of this arc is just kind of just the current arc is just, it's kind of just and it's just, I feel like it just doesn't hit the same way as My Hero Academia did before. Like, I think the art is still solid, but like the story is definitely getting rushed overall, and I don't think it's super enjoyable to read. But I'm obviously gonna still continue to read it, just because I've gone this far and read every week. So it's like, I'm gonna finish it, because the overall story is pretty cool and pretty interesting. I just don't like how like what's going on the last arcs, because I think it's getting rushed, and I'm not 100% why, but like, because My Hero Academia is like a pretty big money maker, at least in the West. I don't know about in Japan, but definitely in the West, it's a huge money maker. So like, I don't know why it's getting rushed as much as it is. Um, but it is what it is. I probably missed some stuff, but like, it is what it is, man. If you like that video of me rambling for 2 videos about My Hero Academia's manga, like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you next time, guys.